That day, my daughter screamed, "HOA Karen shaved my daughter," out of pure jealousy I couldn't wake from. And then I saw my daughter's bald head, and my heart froze. It all began on a calm Friday afternoon, listening in my living room, listening to my little girl Sandra giggle as she made her dolls dance on the carpet. Everything felt peaceful until the sound of stones hitting my front door shattered the silence. I jumped up and opened the door to see Dylan, Karen's bratty son, mid-throw, hurling rocks like he was auditioning for demolition duty. One stone missed the door but cracked the side of my brand-new car. Rage flooded me. "Hey, are you insane?" I yelled, storming toward him. He froze, clutching another rock, eyes wide. For a moment, I wanted to drag him straight to his mother, but I held back. I only pointed at the car and said, "One more stunt like this and your mom is paying for it." He dropped the stone and ran. I tried to calm down, thinking maybe he just needed a lesson, not realizing that sparing him would ignite Karen's full-blown vendetta. Less than an hour later, I heard furious banging on my door. Karen arrived. In her oversized sunglasses and floral robe, radiating fury, she pointed her finger in my face and screamed, "Why did you hit my son?" Confused, I said, "I didn't touch him." She went into a tirade, claiming he had bruises and that I would regret yelling at her child. My neighbor Greg walked over to calm her, explaining he had seen everything, her son throwing rocks. Me yelling only to stop him, but she snapped at him too, calling him a busybody. Karen stormed off, heels clicking, declaring war with a chilling smirk. I knew then she wouldn't stop. The next Saturday, Sandra had a playdate planned with Jacob, my neighbor's son. I was supposed to pick her up, but when I arrived, I froze. My little girl was sitting on the driveway crying, her tiny head bald, her pink dress soaked with tears. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. "Who did this to you?" I asked, panic rising. "Miss Karen?" Sandra whispered. My blood ran cold. "She cut my hair because of lice," Sandra hiccuped. Lice. Her hair was clean as ever. I carried her inside, heart pounding, then stormed to Greg's house. He explained that Karen had lied, claiming it was an emergency, and that I had sent for Sandra. I couldn't believe how easily she manipulated the situation. I rushed straight to Karen's house, my hands shaking with rage. She opened the door, smirking. "You shaved my daughter's hair," I said, barely able to speak. She didn't flinch. "Next time, think twice before yelling at my son," she hissed. I clenched my fists, barely able to restrain myself. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I dialed 911. Within minutes, lights flashed and sirens wailed. Karen tried to act innocent, claiming harassment, but the moment the officers saw Sandra's bald head, her act fell apart. They handcuffed her on her porch as neighbors watched in stunned silence. My stomach twisted with relief and disbelief, knowing justice had only just begun, even after Karen was handcuffed and taken away by the police. The tension in the neighborhood didn't vanish overnight. Parents whispered warnings at bus stops and in driveways. Children nervously shared stories of the crazy HOA lady, and I often caught neighbors casting wary glances as they passed my house, as if to acknowledge the ordeal we had survived. Sandra slowly began to regain her confidence, but small hesitations lingered. She flinched at loud voices and hesitated when other children raised their hands or argued. Every evening, I sat with her on the porch or in her room, comforting her, reassuring her that she was safe, and teaching her that screaming or crying didn't mean danger anymore. Her physical scars faded. First, her hair grew back, strands curling gently as if to remind us that life could return to normal, but the emotional lessons were etched deep. Invested in extra security cameras around the house, not because I was paranoid, but because I understood the power of documentation. The footage of Karen's tantrum had been my golden ticket to justice, and it taught me that even the most brazen bully could be held accountable when evidence was preserved. Karen's former allies in the HOA scattered like leaves in the wind. Meetings that once echoed with her domineering voice became quiet, almost peaceful affairs. People who had previously nodded in agreement with her every command now spoke cautiously, implementing policies that genuinely prioritized community safety rather than personal vendettas. Neighbors would occasionally nod at me knowingly as I walked past, silently acknowledging that they had witnessed the chaos, understood the danger, and shared in the relief that it was finally over. Some even extended small gestures of kindness toward Sandra, inviting her for playdates and allowing her to rebuild the routines of a normal childhood she had lost during those terrifying moments. Karen's downfall was total. Her prison sentence removed her freedom. Fines and civil damages drained her finances, and her once formidable reputation became a cautionary tale. Her return to the neighborhood was anticlimactic: empty streets, avoidant neighbors, children peeking from behind fences, and she had no formal standing in any HOA decisions. Her empire of intimidation and control lay in ruins. A stark example that entitlement and authority do not grant immunity from accountability. My family, however, emerged stronger than ever. The bond with Sandra deepened as we coordinated to reinforce safety rules, teach boundaries, and encourage open expression of feelings. We celebrated every milestone, from her first carefree laugh after the ordeal to her triumphant return to school without fear. Each small victory signaling recovery and resilience. I often reflected on the fragility of civility and the courage required to stand up for what is right. In moments when I had shouted at Dylan or picked up the phone to call 911, I had preserved not only my daughter's safety, but the moral integrity of the community. Sandra's laughter gradually returned like sunshine after a storm, her spirit healing alongside her hair, and we found comfort in the renewed sense of safety and trust surrounding our home. Walking past Karen's empty house, I sometimes paused to remember the chaos, the fear, and the shouting, but also the triumph, the dismantling of her reign of fear, the validation of justice, and the proof that courage, evidence, and persistence can protect innocence. The neighborhood learned vigilance. Children learned resilience. My family learned the importance of unity, love, and assertiveness. Karen may have believed herself untouchable, shielded by HOA authority and entitlement, but the events proved otherwise. Cruelty has consequences, and justice, though sometimes delayed, is inevitable. Sandra now plays freely in the yard, her hair growing back, her confidence restored, and her laughter echoing with the knowledge that even the darkest moments can be survived. The lesson is clear. Standing firm, calling out wrongdoing, and preserving evidence are acts of courage that safeguard not only one child but an entire community. Karen's arrogance and cruelty were exposed, her influence eradicated, and the neighborhood healed. The scars of the ordeal remain as reminders, but they are matched by resilience, vigilance, and the triumph of justice. My family has grown closer, stronger, and more united, having faced a nightmare that could have shattered us, and the experience instilled an unwavering determination to never allow manipulation or endangerment to threaten my children again. Even now, years later, walking past her abandoned house, I feel a mix of reflection and satisfaction, knowing that the balance of morality, courage, and justice prevailed. The lesson resonates. No power, no title, and no sense of entitlement can override responsibility, and karma often arrives faster and harsher than one anticipates. Karen's legacy is now a warning to others. Sandra's growth is proof of resilience. Our family's survival is a testament to the enduring strength of love, vigilance, and courage.